Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Today we're going to continue setting up our oil processing area. The tank for petroleum is nearly filled. As soon as that fills up, all the processing will come to a stop. The tanks of oil won't be filled yet because, as you can see, we get 40 petroleum and 30 of each of the oil types per cycle. So that means petroleum will always fill up fast, and the others not quite as fast. But that's okay. Soon we're gonna find things to do with all these fluids so that we can keep this running. To start with, though, it's been pointed out to me in the comments that these 4 pump jacks, while they're connected to each other, they are not connected to the main pipeline that goes to the tanks. So the first thing that I want to do is go and take care of that situation. That'll just take a moment or two. This is actually my second time doing this video. Unfortunately, I had another one of those episodes where I clicked the button to start recording on my recording software. And I didn't realize that because of my failing mouse that I actually double clicked it, which means that I started recording and then immediately stopped. So I went on for about 40 minutes making a great episode, and then when I finished I realized that it wasn't recording the whole time. So I have retired my trusty Razer Death Adder mouse and replaced it with another one just like it. It's a great mouse, but the one that I had before the buttons were just getting worn out. Okay, so this has stopped because petroleum is full. So what I want to do today is start to make the main products of oil processing, which are lubricant. We need that to make the electric engine units, which we'll need for science packs and various other things. We need to make sulfur, and from that we can make sulfuric acid. We need that for batteries. We also need it for blue circuits. And then we need to make plastic, which is used to make red circuits. And the red circuits, of course, are needed for Science Pack 3s, which we want to get started as soon as we can. So, once we get advanced oil, that's going to be our next research, by the way. Once we get advanced oil processing done, that will allow us to convert. Well, first of all, it'll allow us to change our recipe. We'll be able to add water to it, and by doing so, we'll get a greater proportion of petroleum and light oil, and we'll get less heavy oil than we get today. And that's good because generally we're going to be using petroleum far more than we'll be using heavy oil. And light oil we don't really need for anything until we get to the point where we need to launch rockets, and at that point we can use it to make solid fuel and rocket fuel. But for now, we're mainly interested in petroleum and less so interested in heavy oil. Okay, and then you also unlock recipes to convert heavy oil to light, and then you can convert light oil to petroleum. So once we have these recipes, we will be able to set up part of the factory so that we can essentially convert everything into petroleum and not have to worry about things getting backed up. Okay, and when we do that, what we'll do is I'm going to leave a little bit of space here to make room for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we'll essentially have one machine cracking heavy oil to light, and then we'll have 7 machines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll have 7 machines cracking light oil into petroleum. And this ratio matches up with having 8 refineries. So 8 refineries, 1 heavy to light, and 7 light to petroleum. And that way it'll just be able to make petroleum nonstop. Okay, so I'm going to leave those there for now. We're not going to use them yet because we don't have the recipes, of course. But what I do want to start doing is making the other petroleum products. Okay, so again, I'll leave a little more space here. Let's get some power brought over to this side. Okay, I think that'll be close enough. All right. Okay, so the first one we can do is lubricant. That one's fairly easy. I do need some iron plates so I can make tanks. And I'm going to put lubricant, well, for now anyway, I'm going to pump it into 4 storage tanks. And the reason that I want 4 storage tanks is because we're going to be using, eventually we're going to be using a lot of lubricant to make blue logistics components, right? Lubricant's also, it's also an ingredient in blue belts, which we get when we research logistics 3, which is here, right? Those take 20 lubricant each. So once we start using blue belts regularly, we're going to be consuming lubricant at an alarming rate. So I want to start now to accumulate a good supply, which is why I'm going to put 4 tanks on there. It'll take a long time to fill those up, but that's okay because we don't really need a lot of lubricant just yet. Okay, so then we'll put a pump on the output of this tank. Let's get some power there. All right, 1, 2. Just making sure I leave 2 tiles of space. These power poles are not cooperating with me. There we go. Okay. And we're making lubricant. Great. All right. So next step, let's make sulfuric acid. And for the sulfuric acid, I know that for the starter base, I need 1 machine making acid, and I need 2 machines making sulfur. Okay. Now the 1 machine making acid, I know that by using the Factorio calculator. And I set up the calculator for, which is an online tool. I set up the calculator for 45 science per minute for all the science packs simultaneously, and it tells me that one of these machines will do the job. Okay. And we'll put 4 storage tanks for acid as well. All right. Now, 1 cycle of acid needs 5 sulfur. These make 2 sulfur per cycle. And those are 1-second cycles that we're talking about. So 2 of these machines making sulfur can keep this about 20% or about 80% active. But that's enough. Because if I look at the calculator again, I actually need 0.3 machines making sulfuric acid. So it doesn't have to run 100% of the time to keep this working. Okay, now the sulfur requires water and petroleum. Okay, so let's set up the plumbing that we need for that. Whoops. And this needs a water input as well. All right, so we'll do the water like that. And we'll connect the petroleum lines there. And we'll connect the water lines like that. Okay, so now we need to get water brought in here. And what I'd like to do is grab it from the same lake that we're using to power our steam engines. And then we'll run a pipe along this path and bring it up to here. We're going to need water anyway for advanced oil, so actually we'll have, let me bring this over a bit. Because down here I'm going to want to put plastic, right? So I'm bringing the water out here just so I have room here to work around the plastic factory stuff. All right, there's 2. Okay, I think I'm going to have to we'll just do it here to make sure we have enough room. Oh, you know what? Let's do it down here. And I'm doing it here because remember that we've got some extra space here above the last, what's going to be the last copper line. So I'll use this to bring in the water. Yep. All right, and I'll leave it like that. I'm not going to connect this just yet, but that'll be where we can tap into the water line to feed our refineries as well. Okay, and then let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I should be putting pumps in here too. Darn it. Okay, I think that's the lesser evil. All right, so I don't need these pumps to be as close together as what I had. Oh man. Okay, well this is probably a good place for a pump. Let's make it go in the right direction though. Well, lesson learned. Next time I make a base, I need to put the power poles in a better place. All right, so here I'm going to bring the power poles, or I'm going to bring this line across like this. Okay, and we'll put another pump there. You can go for water from an offshore pump. You can have 17 pipe segments before you lose any flow from your offshore pump. The offshore pump delivers 1200 water per second. And if you go to the Factorio wiki and you look up fluid system, there's a chart there that will tell you what your flow rate is depending on how many pipe segments. And a pipe segment could be either a single underground or an above ground. So that's one reason why you want to use undergrounds whenever you can, because you'll get better flow rates, or you'll just require fewer pumps. However you want to look at it. Actually, let's put this one back further. All right. So in this case, I had one too many. So I'm just going to put in. Put in a pump there. I guess I'm going to need some power poles. There we go. So that's fewer than 17. So after 17 pipe segments, the flow rate drops down to 1200, which exactly matches the offshore pump. So here we can count. There's 15, 16, and then we have a pump, right? So that's good. Oops. Here we've got, it's 12 underground plus the one above ground. So that's 14. All right, so there we're good. Here we're good. Okay, so I think we've got pumps spaced out appropriately for this situation. We should probably put another one right here. Okay, I'll put that pole there. Okay, wonderful. So now we've got water. And then we need petroleum. So let's hook up the petroleum. Now we're also going to need petroleum for the plastic. And for plastic, we need 6 machines. Again, that's just coming off of the Factorio calculator. That'll be enough to run 45 per minute of all of my science packs simultaneously in the starter base. Okay. And if there's not a link already to the Factorio calculator that I'm using for this, I will include it so that you can take a look at how these calculations are being made. Okay, so let's get a pump on the output of the petroleum. There we go. Okay, so you can see that now we're making sulfur. Now to make the acid, we also need iron plates. Okay, so let's, and we don't need a lot of them, so I'll just use the yellow belt for this. Actually, I'll run the belt into the back here. And let's leave a little bit more room, because here I need to bring in coal. that work? Yeah. Yeah, because here I need to bring in coal for the plastic, right? Because it needs plastic and petroleum. So we'll bring in coal here, and then the iron plate we can bring in like that. Let's see, we need 1 plate per second, essentially. A little bit less than that, but a yellow inserter will do fine. And let's go ahead and run both of these lines so that we only have to go through this path 1 time. Okay, so I need iron and I need coal. And we can take them both from down here and run them up. Okay, so that's going to go like that. And that's going to go like that. And let's start using our bots to help us. Okay. Our very slow bots. All right, so let's get these belts run up there. We're going to have to make a little bit of spaghetti here to make this happen. All right, so we can tap this iron line. Okay, let's do the coal first. All right, so we can do the coal like this. And then it'll have to come here because that power pole's in the way. And that's why I said we're going to be making spaghetti. Okay. So here's our coal line, and then of course this goes on the bottom. So we're gonna have things crisscrossing. Okay, and then yeah, and then the line of iron. Oh my God, I got these mixed up. The yellow belt is iron. The red belt needs to be coal. Crap. Okay. Well, that makes the spaghetti a little bit better then. Well, I guess I still have this inversion to deal with. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. Let me pick all this up. All right. Honestly, I don't think the coal needs to be a red belt either. I think a yellow belt of coal is going to be enough. Let's check. Yeah, 1 coal per second times 6. Yeah, we're going to need about 8 coal per second. So we can do that with a yellow belt. So let's make that one yellow too. Okay, so so this one's for coal, and then we'll run iron plates up next to that one. But first I need more yellow belts. There. I'm setting this inserter so that this one only runs if this one doesn't have anything in it. That way it'll use my extra belts first. Maybe that's not even really necessary, but anyway. Okay. So let's get the iron taken up there. Right, so iron we're going to need to bring up like this. Okay. All right. Yeah, so we still have to crisscross here. There. And there might be a more elegant way to do that, but anyway, this will work. What in God's name am I doing? Ah, for goodness sakes. I can't believe I messed that up again. All right. That's coal. This is iron. I don't have to do the crisscross. I'm going to have so much coal that we're going to make a couple chests full of plastic before I ever get this thing running. Okay, so I need iron plate from you. Yeah, of course. Okay. Now we got it. Okay. There we go. So now we're making sulfuric acid. And over here, we can start making plastic. These aren't going to pull any coal yet because I already put a bunch in here. All right, now the output for the plastic, I do want to be on red belt. And I want to go 3. And then move it to the inside of the belt. And then 3 more, like that. Okay, so that way we can use the full belt for a single row of machines and not have to put them on opposite sides. All right, so this one after the 3rd machine, this transfers to the inside, and then these 3 inserters will insert on the outside. So we've got 3 machines on each side of the belt. Okay. So now we've got plastic, we've got petroleum, we've got acid. We're in good shape. The only other issue that we have is we don't have anything right now using up the light oil. Okay, so we'll need to take care of that so that we can keep the refineries running to give us more petroleum. Because right now light oil is full, and so everything here is stopped. So what we can do short term is we can make solid fuel from the light oil, and we can send that down to our power plant. And I'll keep things simple for now, and I'll just connect all these with a single pipe. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then later we'll convert these to make, to do the cracking of the oil into petroleum. But for now, we'll just use this to help get rid of the light oil that we've got. Okay, and I'm going to put a buffer down here. Actually, let's make iron chests. Those hold more. There we go. Okay, and then we'll take this over to our power plant. So we'll just follow the water pipe, essentially. Let me go grab some more yellow belt first, because I'm not sure if we've got enough to make it. Pardon me. And so once we get that going, then we'll be ready in the next episode to start making red circuits. We'll need to bring the plastic over and put it on the bus down below the circuit somewhere. And then we'll set up a red circuit production area. We'll also need to expand our green circuit production, because that's not going to be enough to make a lot of red circuits. And we're going to need more copper. So yeah, once we get blue science going, it's going to require some expansion in all the other areas of the base as well. Let's see, we'll go across here, and then we can come down one. Got a bit of lag just as I threw that. Okay, well, I didn't damage too much stuff, just half of it. Okay. There we go, and here it comes. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a priority splitter. First, I'm going to get rid of this. clean this up a little bit. I didn't know there was going to be a path there when I set this up the first time, so the belt wasn't in quite the optimal place. All right, get rid of some extra coal. All right, so let's bring the solid fuel down here. We'll bring it across. And then I'm going to place a splitter right there. And I'm going to put the input priority on the right side. So that way, whenever there's solid fuel available, that will go down this fuel line before the coal does, so that we use the solid fuel first. And then when we need more power, if there's not enough solid fuel, then it'll feed in coal from this line. Right? Because right now we just want the solid fuel to get used up. It's essentially a way for us to dump oil. Now, one of the other benefits of using solid fuel is that solid fuel has a fuel value of 25 megajoules versus coal, which has a fuel value of 8 megajoules. Right? So that means that one piece of solid fuel has a little bit more than 3 times as much energy as one piece of coal. So you need less of it to get the same amount of electrical power produced. And that's nice in a situation like this because, you know, for example, when both of these are running at full speed, a yellow belt might have a hard time getting the coal fed in fast enough. Whereas with solid fuel, because you're using less of it, you can feed more boilers with a single belt, for example. Okay. So now if we go back and we check this again, we can see that the light oil is slowly depleting. We can see the refinery is working a little bit. In reality, we may need more machines making solid fuel, but pretty soon we'll have enough plastic at least to get advanced oil processing done, and then we'll come and we'll tear this up and do something else with it, right? And we could still make solid fuel if the oil, you know, if we have a lot of petroleum and we still have light oil available, we could tell it to burn up extra light oil into solid fuel. But like I said, for now, this is essentially a temporary thing. We'll probably be going back to using coal once we get everything running with the red circuits. Okay, well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.